In helping to answer that question, I want to read something to you. I want to read something that a dear favorite of mine, John Kude카ga, gave to Caldra for me to read to give to you. It sounds a bit convoluted. But when Caldra asked Mr. Kude카ga, so you want me to channel you at the Shoud? And John made it very clear, nobody's going to channel me. So Caldra wrote this out and asked me to read it during the Shoud. Let's take a deep breath as we feel John's presence, his whole being in the room. I have to stop for a moment and explain. John extended his duty, extended his stay here on earth. He was originally going to leave about 3.5 years ago. When he realized that Crimson Circle was going to do a studio, he decided to stay longer, to be part of building all this out. His service was done. He was ready to come to this side. He's got a big project he's going to be working on here, and he decided to stay. He's transitioned recently. He is always going to be a part of Shambra, always a part of the studio. He's not gone. He's probably more aware of each and every one of you than ever before. And he literally is working on, you know, John, he's working on a new technology, but a technology that doesn't involve circuits and wires and electricity, a technology for staying connected between the realms. You see, you have brief glimpses once in a while of the other realms, but then it seems to fade away. So dear John is working on a technology for Shambra to stay connected, to stay in those realms. From John, the greatest disease. The greatest disease is not cancer or heart failure. These are imbalances of the body. The greatest disease is not depression, anxiety, or schizophrenia. These are reactions of the mind. The greatest disease is staying asleep, in spite of knowing that it's time to wake up. I'm going to repeat that. The greatest disease is staying asleep, even when you know it's time to wake up. Staying asleep tears at your heart and at your soul. It's being untrue to yourself in the midst of the greatest truth of all. You are free. Staying asleep is living in a limited state of being, and this will haunt you more than any disease of the body or mind. I'll repeat that one as well. Staying asleep is living in a limited state of being, and this will haunt you more than any disease of the body or mind. Instead of fighting cancer or depression, go deep into your heart. Feel what is yours and leave everything else behind. Please allow me to repeat that. Feel what is yours as you go deep into your heart and leave everything else behind. Don't dwell on old memories or worry about the future. These are the diseases that will deny you of life. The greatest disease of all for Shambra, the one that will keep you from your heart, is staying asleep. John had some incredible experiences, his own battles with cancer, but actually it really wasn't a battle. It was an allowing of, you could say, what was in his true heart, an allowing of what was really there. Now, no human ever wants to be confronted with diseases of the body or mind. But his wasn't a fighting of cancer, his was allowing of self. And in his last days, and particularly last few months, he realized that he had held on to a lot of old stuff that didn't serve him, but yet he had held on to it. This was the greatest disease, not the cancer. He didn't rattle his sword against cancer. He rattled it against not waking up and allowing. All the tools are there. Everything you need, everything John needed, they're all there. when he made his transition, it was joyful. He was greeted by thousands and thousands, literally, who lined the hall of honor for him. Angels, Shambra, ascended masters. What a moment of joy. What a moment of joy. It was shortly after that that he transmitted this message to say the disease wasn't cancer. Oh, don't get mad at cancer. The disease was truly about not waking up when you know better. When you know better. It's different for those who have no inkling of something called enlightenment, who've never been touched by spirit, by Theo, who have never felt the I am within themselves, who have never experienced the I exist. It's different for them. But for you who have had those encounters, who have felt the presence within you, those of you who have gone beyond the mind and had the experience of spirit in your everyday life, then for you the greatest disease is not waking up when you know better. When there is fear, when you are holding back, maybe waiting for somebody else to do it, when there are things that you're simply not letting go of, things that are no longer for you, things that are held on to because in a way it creates an identity for you. It gives you a punching bag in life, gives you something to blame things on. It gives you a repetitive cycle of something to battle without really getting any place. There's a certain level of comfort in doing it, and I've annoyed many Shambra, and I'll continue to do it by saying that if there's something in your life, it still must be serving you somehow, otherwise it would not be there. Something, whether it's alcoholism, whether it's depression, whether it's feeling totally out of balance, whether it's abundance, whether it is relationship issues, if it is in your life, you must still be receiving something from it. Not a lesson, because there are no lessons. But you must be receiving some sort of comfort or identity or some self-inflicted pain from it. So, my dear friends, the greatest disease is actually continuing to pretend you're not awake, that you're not a master, when indeed you have everything you need for it. So, what is it? What is it? What are you holding on to? Edith, you hold on to your warrior self. You hold on to old battles from lifetimes ago. You hold on to righteousness. You hold on to things have to be a certain way. And these are not yours. These are not yours. Even if it came from a past life, it is not yours anymore. This is not yours, Edith. Let it go. Those old battles, they're not yours. Let it go. Let it go, my dear. There are things that are so deep within. Sometimes you don't even notice, but they're not yours anymore. You get to this point on the eve of enlightenment, and it's just simply time to let go. They're not yours. David, your compassion for others, your caring for others is such a blessing indeed. But these things are not yours anymore. It's created an identity for you. A good David, it's made you feel in here. But these things are not yours anymore. It doesn't mean that you harm other people. It doesn't mean you're indifferent to others. It simply means that you can't carry it for them anymore. These are not yours, David. Take a deep breath and let them go. Tough, difficult to let these things go. It's helped create you. It's helped make you what you are. But they're not yours. This is not yours. You're going to be hearing me saying that over and over, and you're going to resist it. You're going to resist me. Vince and Carolyn, the things that have touched your physical body, they're not yours. You've taken them on as your own. The doctors have said that they're yours. You might look at the x-rays. You might feel into the aches and pains of your body, but they are not yours. They're not. You've carried too much for other people, and actually so much for each other. It's a thing of beauty when two who love each other carry each other's burdens, but the illnesses of your body are not yours. I can't take them away from you. I wouldn't heal you even if I could, but I can ask you to let them go. These things in your body that come from lifetimes of carrying too much, fighting too much for a cause, they're not yours. Let them go. Take a deep breath. This is not yours, Vince or Carolyn. This is not yours. It's difficult sometimes because you feel so close and connected with the things in your life. You feel so part of them. Obviously, you think it has to be mine, and you continue with the battle. You continue fighting these things, and they are not yours. Tobias said it a long time ago, the only thing that is yours is what you choose. That's it. I don't care if it's abundance. I don't care if it is a past life issue. Whatever it is, it's not yours. I look at you and I see such goodness in each and every one of you. A goodness that I wish you could see in yourself, but you're carrying too much. Your heart is covered with grime and mud and dirt and tar because you're carrying things that aren't yours anymore, and you can't take those into embodied enlightenment. You'll continue trying for your enlightenment, working for it, but that grime will keep you from experiencing it. This is not yours. I will tell you that over and over until you're sick of hearing it, but until you actually let it go. That deep ache in your heart, my dear, that deep ache in your heart is not yours. It's been carried with you for a long time. The wound of Isis, your personal experiences that go far, far back into the times of Atlantis, that deep aching that you felt all of your life, it's not yours. You've created an identity around it. You've created destruction and trauma around it. It's not yours anymore. It is not. It was an experience, but it is not yours. Please take a deep breath and let it go. It is not yours. These are the things when you say, but when, Adamus, when is this going to happen? These are the things that are holding you back. And I tell you that enlightenment is natural. It's going to happen, and it will. It's going to happen in this lifetime. In this lifetime. You wonder why it's taking so long, why there's so many struggles, because you're holding on to things that are not yours. Every day, every moment that goes by, from here on, take a look, is this yours? You may try to justify it and say, well, yes, I hurt another person. I did something out of truth, or whatever it happens to be. You're going to say, well, of course that's mine. And I stop for a moment. I stop you and say, it is not. Do not carry it anymore. Do not hold it anymore. Do not be enticed by its seduction anymore. It is not yours. And you're going to feel naked at times, very, very naked. Because you're shedding the skin, an identity of who you've been, what's defined you, what motivates you, what causes you to make decisions. And suddenly you're going to feel very naked, very vulnerable. Who am I? What am I doing here? Why do I want to stay? And that's the time to come back to the I exist. I am that I am. These things are not yours. The crazy thoughts that's going through your mind, the issues in your body, problems with abundance, aches and pains, these are not yours. Can you wipe the slate clean right away? Can you just say, they're not mine anymore? Can you do that? Of course you can. Part of you will want to hold on and say, but I got to hold on to just a little bit to remember not to be a bad person. And that's why I say, these things are not yours. What is yours? Only what you choose. You are not your past life at all. You are not your past lives. We refer to them, they're like cousins of the soul. You can feel them, but you are not them. You don't have to suffer for the things that they did. These are not yours. The abuse that you've taken from others and then taken it so deep within yourself that you feel you did something wrong to deserve it, these are not yours. Not anymore. Nothing. These are not yours. Take a deep breath and let them go. You don't have to push them out. You don't have to fight with them. You just let it go. That's it. That's it. These things are not yours. I have to get a good look back here at all the magnificent work that's been done. Your daughter. Your daughter. Your heart aches. You wonder what's going on. As much as you love her, it's not yours. As much as you wonder if you did the right thing, if you were a good father, it's not yours. What happened was a life-changing experience that was written on the soul. It was going to happen. Something that would bring her into her inner vision, her humanity. Something that would bring her into the deeper levels of herself. It was already known. It was already part of what she had chosen. Have compassion, have love, care for her, and show her humanity, the humanity that you carry within your being, but it is not yours. That's difficult to say to a father whose daughter has been injured. I'm not saying to be indifferent. I'm simply saying don't take it into your being. Be there for her, strong. Be there for her in wisdom, but it's not yours. And there'll be a year of difficulty on her part, and then she'll realize why she's really here. These things are not yours. Your family, we've talked about it a lot in Ancestral Freedom. It's not yours to redeem your family. Generation after generation of family lack of self-worth, family esteem, of family poverty, of family penance to spirit, to God, of generations of sinners, or so the family says. These are not yours, but you still hold them in you. You still fight those battles. Let it go. What does that mean? Never seeing your family again? Denying your family? Not necessarily. It means let those things go from within you. Set yourself free. For the greatest thing you can do for your ancestors, for your living family here and now, is to set it free. These are not yours anymore. But you continue to hold them. You continue to fight them. You continue to dream about them. They're not yours anymore. Your issues with authority going back lifetimes ago, being persecuted unjustly by authorities, by those in power, by those who held you hostage, that controlled your life. That was a past life. These are not yours anymore. These are not yours. If you continue to hold on to them, this whole coming to enlightenment is going to be a struggle. It's going to be painful, and it will bring about things like cancer or some type of psychosis. These are not yours. It was a past life. You are the I am in this lifetime. Let it go. And same to you about the family. What I said to her, it applies. These things are not yours anymore. It seems obvious. It seems so clear. They're not yours. But you hold on to them. Sometimes you don't even realize what's in there. Sometimes you're so ingrained in some of these attitudes and old behaviors from lifetimes ago, from families ago. Sometimes you don't even know they're there. Every worry that you have, my dear, you knew I was coming this way. Oh, she could feel it. Every worry that you have, everyone is not yours. But you hang on to it. It's kind of like an old sweater that you keep knitting on. And you hang on to it. It is not yours. Why do you hang on? With the fear of letting go. The fear of letting go, the needles and the yarn, and everything you've been doing, everything that's created your identity, all the worrying, unnecessarily. John would scold you so much right now. The only disease is not waking up when you have all the tools, everything you need, and just allowing. But you keep knitting that worry sweater. These are not yours. Oh.
Crap.
The weakness of the human self, the vulnerability of the human, that's not yours. Oh, you might have taken some of it on and experienced it, but it's no longer yours. That inner weakness, that vulnerability that made you go just the opposite. Tough guy, funny guy, distracting guy, but a guy who really felt there was a weakness, something wrong inside. It's not yours anymore. That weakness actually never was, and there never was a weakness at all, but you've held on to it. Oh, you buried it so that nobody could see it, but I know it's there. It's not yours. These things are not yours. Struggle, issues, children, mates, working so hard, having to be that warrior. Isn't it funny? Two warriors, right? And one in front of the other. There's nothing to battle anymore. There's nothing. It's not yours. So every thought that comes into your mind that has to do with being less than, every thought that has to do with you have to work hard and struggle, that there's something wrong, these aren't yours. They're coming. I've said it for years and years to you. 93% of what's going through your mind is not yours. And I would say another 5 or 6% is just crap that you're deciding to hold on that came from God knows where. These are not yours. Now, again, as simple as it all sounds, you're still going to struggle with it. I want you to really observe yourself now. Your thoughts, your feelings, what's happening in your life, what you're attracting into your life, whether things are difficult or easy, whether there's a lot of confrontation and conflict. And every time that comes up, I want you to take a deep breath and ask, is this mine or not? Every time it comes up, I want you to take a look at it. Are you still doing the old, what is Spirit trying to tell me? What lesson is supposed to be learned? Am I supposed to be saving the world, saving my family, or anything else? These are not yours. I'll go so far as to say that you are being selfish in the worst way that of the word. You are being selfish by hanging on to these things. By hanging on to the old psychological issues, lack of abundance, diseases in your body, thoughts of being weak or less than. That is actually being selfish. Now, I tell you to take care of yourself, of course. But when you get to this point, when you are indulgent in old repetitive thoughts, when you're indulgent in things that aren't even yours, that's when I say you are being selfish. You're denying the master into the house. You're denying also really the evolution of all of the past and future lifetimes. That is selfish. The greatest disease of all is not allowing yourself to wake up when you've had glimpses of it, when you have all the tools, everything. Let's take a deep breath with that. This is not mine. I want you to feel that within your being as these things come up, as you're tormenting yourself, as you're keeping yourself from enlightenment. This is not mine. And by doing so, it's going to help you realize what is yours. Let's take this into a mirab, my dear friends.